Welcome back to the ESL Pro League. It is the third and final day. Unfortunately, we've made it here, but luckily there are some great games to close this one out. I'm joined by the greatest himself, though. It's going to be Harry. We're back. I mean, are you ready for this? Obviously, to kick it off, it is going to be a big one. We have the man themselves, Hellraisers, the Polish team that has actually had a bit of a bad season, really. They've been struggling online in recent form, and coming into this, do you expect this is going to be a shake-up? That's obviously going to be quite a big game to kick things off. What are your quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm fairly wait, are we covering Hellraisers or NiP versus VP? What are you on about?
Wait, it's VP, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what I said.
You said Hellraisers.
Did I say Hellraisers?
That's why I'm so confused.
I thought I said VP. I said the Polishmen themselves.
We're off to a fantastic start. But,
well, this has gone well.
Yeah,
I'm not sure which one of us is crazy.
I swear it was you, but maybe it was me.
It's the Mandela effect
you know
in
what?
action.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll figure it out. Yeah, NiP versus VP going to be the first game. We got the schedule and whatnot. We can look at that in a minute. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be the big one. There we go.
That'll shut you down, boy, talking about Hellraisers.
That was you. No, you've got this the wrong way around. You've got this.
Come on, mate. Amateur. This guy.
VP versus NiP. Going to be the first two maps we see, and then we've got G2 versus Mouse, which I'm very much looking forward to both of these, actually. I think they're both going to be very good. There's a lot that we can look at in terms of the standings as well, how they're going to be impacted on the back of this, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that can go on there. And I mean, here we go. We can look at this right now. Is that Mouse? They currently find themselves in third. They're going to be coming in up against G2, who didn't really have the best of starts, but since then have started to rise their way on up. If Mouse go ahead and pick both up, we can actually see them just go straight up into first place. Even if they win one, they're in a very good standing to make it to first.
And that's the crazy thing as well, because obviously Mouse Sports, they've been looking pretty good, even though they had the departure of Nico. And now as well, we see another change. The new fifth is in the lineup. It's all been switched about a bit. This is where it's going to get interesting as well, because Rops, I believe, or how are we going with this pronunciation?
I mean, that's the thing, right? He's new, so yeah. I don't know what you want to. Should we go with Rops?
You want to go with Rops?
Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds good.
I mean, he's been causing a bit of a stir, obviously, over in FPL. He's been doing very well recently, proving that as an individual player, he is incredibly useful. And
only 17 as well, so incredibly young, and that is a great thing, because then you can just mold them into this killing machine, which would be fantastic. So all that good stuff to come, but first we are going to be looking at NiP versus VP. And the maps today, we're going to go in with the symmetrical map choices, which is quite nice. I believe it's going to go Nuke, Cobble, Cobble, Nuke.
Always scary, obviously, for Observer out there. Yeah. Jacob's going to hate himself for that one, obviously, Nuke.
Struggled on Mirage yesterday. Nuke's a whole different ballgame.
That's a low blow. You did all right, Jacob. There was no need for that. Come on, Harry. But yeah, obviously, it's going to be an interesting map pool, as we are going to see both of those come into action twice. Will be good to sort of see how both of the styles of play are going to come into effect, though. Obviously, kicking it off with Nuke as the first whole shebang. I mean, we sort of spoke about this a little bit earlier on, sort of off camera, but predominantly Ninjas in Pyjamas used to be a very effective Nuke team, but this was a while ago. Yeah. Now coming back into the fold with obviously how things have switched up, it's going to be interesting to see how different everything will be for them there, because Virtus.pro, I mean, they've been struggling in terms of recent form online, especially. On Nuke, though, do you feel like this is still going to be Ninja Pyjamas coming back to that older days, reliving that, especially with Draken in the lineup now, or is this where VP just have a little bit of a reformation and actually lock it down?
There's a lot of factors playing into this. It's something that we were speaking about earlier, is the fact that VP aren't having too much of a good time lately. I mean, when we kind of look back, like you said, old Nuke, and even when Nuke was reintroduced back in 2016, they did very well on it off the bat. Since then, I believe the last time they played it was in October. They just kind of stopped playing it for a while when they were, kind of teetering off towards the end. Coming back into 2017, they've really only played it a couple of times, and the only team they've actually won against has been VP. So it's been a bit of a struggle for them. I mean, they have got the advantage at least of already beating Virtus.pro on this map, but that's up against a VP that hasn't looked, to even be a shadow of its former self.
It's true, they've been struggling a lot there recently. And it's scary as well, because right now they're very low down the bottom of that, as the rankings, as we saw, getting close towards that relegation zone, which would mean they could be forced back into Mountain Dew League, which would be a shame to see them actually back in that spot. And obviously, guys, the finals are coming up very shortly for Mountain Dew League. If you want to check that out, be up to date with all the latest that's going on, you might as well follow it. Stay up to date, we're getting towards the end of that there. And as well, if you do miss anything else that goes on over at this channel, head over to our YouTube channel where you can stay up to date with all the stuff going on there as well. Obviously, all the VODs will be posted. They're going out. We're live there, the same place, same time, every time of the week. So you might as well stick around and subscribe. Ring the bell while you're there as well, because that is going to alert you in case you think, oh, I've got a notification. It's Harry on my screen. You want to tune in, you want to check some of that. It's always good to see, right?
Yeah. Alternatively, I mean, I'd say you got a lot going for you. The facial hair.
It's true.
I'm digging it. But yeah. I think this match in particular is the one I'm looking forward to, despite the fact we've got a great one up next. I've always been a fan of seeing NiP versus VP kind of matches, or even
it's kind of
either one, you know?
Matchup, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're two very kind of old school teams that have played it a lot up against each other, and they're two that should be fresh in people's minds as being ones who do have these kind of periods where they're very inconsistent. NiP perhaps, spanning maybe a couple of years, whereas VP kind of maybe a couple of months at a time, and then they'll very quickly come back into this. I mean, VP still, very, very, I think they're top 3 right now on the HLTV rankings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not a team you can underestimate. They just need to start to pick things up, because they still have yet to win a game in April. So, yeah, and it's not like they haven't been playing. They've been playing. They just haven't been winning.
And I mean, that's quite scary as well, because when you look at it, obviously, they do have that 3rd place ranking on HLTV, but currently throughout this season of Pro League, it's sort of reminiscent of what we've seen before in Pro League. They struggle quite heavily because it's an online season. It just seems like they really can't get over the hump of the fact it is online. They struggle quite heavily. They're very low down towards the bottom now, peeking into that relegation zone. They need to switch things up. Obviously, they had that loss against Hellraiser in the start of the season. There's been quite a few upsets that have actually come through that were interesting to see. We saw that when they went up against Kingwin as well. We expect them to win there. They lost that. Lots of the times they've been losing these matchups. You're just kind of like, right, they should have won that. What's going on? Where can these questions be asked? And it was the same to be said about NiP at the start of the season.
Yeah.
They just literally didn't win a map. They went all the way down. Then we saw Hef removed from the lineup. Draken added. And that was the turning point. That was where, since then, they've actually been performing a whole lot better. But obviously, you've still got to look at it there. Surely, on paper, Virtus.pro should be winning this matchup. They're the team that have had the longer lineup. But I mean, it's starting to even ask the question, is that lineup consistency even worth it anymore, if they can't actually find a way to start closing things down?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. Like you said, I mean, with NiP, something that does normally happen is when we see someone join, they pick things up for a while. It's just how long can they sustain it? They go through the honeymoon period, and then straight away, it's almost like divorce, gone, boom. They really struggle bringing anyone in. They, from speaking to the kind of people that they have brought in, a lot of interviews that came out, they always say they make it a very easygoing atmosphere to ease into, and they always say it comes quite naturally. But with the rest, of the 4 ninjas, it just doesn't quite click. They don't quite cement together. And normally, we see them get dropped. We've seen the likes of Disco Doppelin, Makalele, Pith most recently, removed from the roster in the past, and now we've got Draken trying to fill, that 5th ninja role. And, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Draken. I always have been. Casting all the last season of the Mountain Dew League, a lot of this season as well, kind of seeing him on Epsilon back in the day, that was a spectacle, to say the least. So, I've been heavily invested in him from the beginning. So I think seeing him on NiP is a great thing. I think he can bring a lot to the table.
Like, with that, because he is that AWPing role, it's actually a lot more beneficial for them, because they haven't had really a dedicated AWPer in a while since sort of, I mean, if you look at that, it was when Makalele was back in the team as a dedicated 5th. I mean, he did sort of resurge for a little while. We saw like a couple of weeks, I believe, where he was playing with them, but just kind of like as a sub, right? And they were definitely playing better when they did have those AWPers in the lineup. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was going to say. Makalele did bring a lot to the team, and that's why everyone was very surprised, when he did eventually, have to depart from NiP. It came as quite a shock to a lot of people, because they had picked up quite considerably since bringing him in. So, yeah, no, it has been interesting to kind of witness, though. They're full from grace almost, and it's ever since Verflaren left, if you ask me. He was the man holding it together. What a beautiful specimen he was.
That's true. It's kind of like the glue, keeping it all together, and then as soon as he left, it was crumbling. They've tried to fix it multiple times, but it's never really worked out. So it was always a little bit interesting there. I mean, moving our way through as well, obviously, it's going to be interesting to see more so how he can actually play on a map like Nuke, because he does have the position to actually try and take those fights towards outside. But that's kind of his only angle of attack. I mean, more so, CT half, he can defend, sort of outside once again. But we're not going to see too much of him in terms of AWP setups, most likely towards ramp. We haven't really seen NiP go for anything too crazy like that in a while. It's been very just sort of normal, standard play, quite methodical. And the only thing is, I wonder if that will come back to hinder them, because it will be very easily countered. It's about 2 smokes. You can completely block off all lines of sight from outside when you're taking that outside control. Say 4 VP, if they just have those 5 AKs, want to try and take aim battles. That's the only thing that I'm going to be interested to see if that will hinder them because of that. Also, as well, more predominantly, I think one of the things we do have to touch on that's quite a big point is the fact with the latest changes that have come into effect now, obviously the Negev, that's allowed back in competitive play now, but that is only at the cost of 2k for a weapon that is inaccurate for the first, I think it's like first 15 rounds, then it is 100% accurate. So you do have to hold down the trigger. I mean,
I think it's been banned from the Pro League. So
has it been taken out of Pro League?
We don't have to worry about that. Okay. But I was kind of really looking forward just to seeing You know, so Valve
it was used in America Pro League last night. It was used in the
it might have been, yeah, because it was announced this morning.
Yeah.
It was the Western Player Council.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, like negotiated with ESL, and they basically said that it's not going to be played within Pro League.
There we go.
Which I think, you know, would have been fantastic, just because then Valve can finally witness the
how terrible of an idea it was.
how much of a just abysmal decision that was. You know, they just wanted people to experiment with it. It's almost like a test. It's almost like they need a test client.
It's true. Much like we had in Source, where there was the beta client.
Yeah, it's not like that doesn't already exist. But yeah, I mean, speaking of exist, actually, he's someone that I really wanted to come on to next.
Okay.
That transition was seamless.
That was good, mate. That was well done.
Yeah, him on Nuke has been a spectacle to watch lately. He's been just playing amazingly. You know, I mean, he's normally kind of one of the more consistent, but maybe not kind of top of the board players. Lately on NiP, he's been kind of one of the defining factors. When we saw them versus VP, that when they won last time, 16-5 was the scoreline of that. Granted, VP weren't really there. You know, like I say, they're a shadow of their former self right now, but Exist played phenomenally well. You know, he looked like a combination of both Get Right and Forest back in their prime. He looks actually insane. It's amazing to see. I think we just need to kind of see, you know, the other names on the team step up, and Draken is a nice bit of an injection into that. I think if we see the kind of Exist, Draken, and then Forest combo really kind of carrying things through, then this could go very well for NiP here on Nuke.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see sort of what they actually bring to the table there in terms of strategy as well. But on that T side, a lot of this map does revolve around getting control towards outside. We've actually got some smokes that could help you if you're trying to get some of these takes off. So I'm going to have a look at those, and they might be able to aid you in your pugs over on ESEA.
You like Nuke? No? Well, here's a common warehouse smoke for you anyway. The lineups for this are nice and easy. It's fairly common AWPers should play from this spot, and this smoke should push them away and force them to relocate. Position yourself over this corner and aim slightly above the metal fixture, and then toss the smoke. Easy. Now you removed one of the 45 different angles that CTs can kill you from.
There you go, one of those very useful smokes to block off control towards Garage or Mac, as some source players used to call it. But this is the thing, right? That's going to be very useful up against a player like Draken.
Yeah.
Because there isn't too much he can do. Sure, he can situate himself towards CT Red. He can play a little bit further back and just try and watch the cross. But 9 times out of 10, we're basically just going to see him playing around Garage, trying to get that information, trying to shut things down, right? It's very simple to remove a lot of that CT side line of sight quite easily. You know, there's about 3 smokes you can do that just completely block off all of outside, or you can just remove Garage and then just smoke over and just push it if you want. I mean, a lot of that fight towards Secret and that outside area, I think is going to be a big amount of contention. I mean, with Nuke, just as the flow of the map, I mean, kind of the outside area of Nuke is sort of the mid of the map. That's why it is quite hard to see a lot of those battles going on. I think that will be interesting to see how that affects things, obviously.
Yeah, you know, I think ever since the changes came in, you remember when the rafters were added, now loop all the way around up towards heaven. We don't really see them used in the early stages, and that's because when you do get that smoke, you know, the wall of smokes down towards outside, it's still so strong at being able to get players in through Secret. Usually, instead, we kind of, if anyone does bother to go rafters, it'll be a little bit later into the round to sneak up in towards heaven, go for some sort of split in towards the A site, or alternatively kind of hit ramp from the, you know, with the surprise factor. Usually don't really see anyone overextend past the rafters too much early on, and that's because when that wall of smokes goes down, the guy up there's still incredibly vulnerable to the AWPer that's outside. So, you know, I imagine, like you say, if we do see any outside pushes coming in from VP, we're just going to see a nice little wall of smokes go down, because it's very, very easy to do. As you just saw in that smoke tutorial there, I mean, there's one for you if you ever find yourself against Draken in a pug. Yeah, I mean, they'll just be able to get the wall of smokes down, head outside, make their way down through Secret, and that B site is fairly easy to kind of take now with the different layouts that we see. The one thing is you know, we kind of see Exist sometimes playing over towards that ramp here, and he's gotten very efficient at just being able to hold that, you know, lock it down, like just an impossibly amazing. I can't think of the word. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. That's the one. Immovable object. That's him. That's Exist.
For BT is the unstoppable force.
That
it's
is
the age-old question, right?
Yeah.
Who comes out on top in that scenario? Or does it just null each other? Nothing happens.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess we're going to find out when we finally get into this. We were told, actually, that the reason why there's a little bit of delay was because someone couldn't find their phone charger to authenticate with Steam, which is probably a pretty quality reason, if you ask me. Pretty justified. But yeah, no. So, okay, going into this, and what would you say your predictions are? You know, how do you think it's going to go, on Nuke at least?
I mean, honestly, right, it's kind of shocking to see, because we've seen VP, I mean, still per always, at LAN environments, locking it down, still having good showings, right? But online this season, it's just been really quite abysmal. And to be honest, I think like it's going to be unfair if I don't hedge my bets towards NiP and just say purely off sort of more nostalgia for Nuke being here and them sort of, as they were, a very, very fabulous team back on the older style of Nuke. Coming into this one, if they do have a little bit of that form reminiscent, have good use of all of their players, as you say, they exist as well. Another player that just needs to pop off. I mean, more so as well, like I'm not expecting to see too much actually from Drac in terms of firepower because he's just quite a consistent player in terms of what role he plays. He's just very useful overall. I mean, he'll just hold his ground. So I'm thinking as long as everyone actually steps up, plays their role to a nice standpoint, you know, not over too zealous, not trying to go too confident or anything like that, but just plays it out as they should. I think NiP should be able to close this one out. It's going to be a close matchup, to say the least, but I think NiP might be able to edge just ahead on Nuke to start this series.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, after we kind of saw VP play the other night when they were up against LDLC, they were on Nuke, and yeah, they got ruined there as well. Even when you think back to Star Series, they never got more than 5 rounds up against anyone they played against, and you know, just kind of immediately bottomed out. So yeah, I'm going to have to hedge my bets at least on this first map on NiP. I think that's going to be the way that we see it. Like you say, if everyone just plays their role, then we're going to be all good. But that's the thing about VP. They are very up and down, even literally over a matter of, you know, a game. Like one game they could be just the worst team you've ever seen. The next game, they are Virtus.pro. And well, we're going to be seeing this as we head now into the pistol round. It's going to be underway. VP over on the CT side, NiP kicking things off on the T side.
We'll see how this one will unfold. Obviously, as well, you can see Exist has gone for a little bit of utility play with the rest of his side. Obviously has that armor Glock to play with. Virtus.pro, meanwhile, there is no kit on their side. They've gone for these full kits of armor. Obviously, Nuke, a very easy map to rotate, so it's not going to hinder them too much as long as they can try and retake that site in a fairly timely fashion. Pasha situated himself over towards ramp by the boxes. He's going to peek up. Can he actually do some damage, though? His role was to just try and slow them down there as they've taken a fair bit of map control already. You can see them actually pushing their way through and towards that B-bomb site. Can they find the frags, though? Freiburg will kick it off. Absolutely brutal there as he takes down Pasha, but Bayali will respond with 2 frags of his own, Harry.
Yeah, Bomb is going to get planted over towards that B site. Neo's got a lot of ground left to clear out, and well, Bialy, there's no stopping him right now. He's going to be on 3 frags, still alive and kicking, finally dealt with by Freiburg, who's looking for a third of his own, and actually, down goes Taz. It's Neo and Snacks in the 2-on-1. Freiburg, the last hope here for NiP in this pistol round. He's got a reload, trying to stay alive in the vents, but they haven't dealt with him yet. Finally going to go down as Snacks does around the corner. The crossfire set up. A little bit uncomfortable there in that 1-on-2. NiP, they get the bomb down, but the defuse is going to come in as VP, they pick up the pistol.
A little bit awkward as he danced around. I thought he was actually going to somehow be able to pull something out because it just took him so long to find that frag onto him. But obviously a little bit too low. He does fall. Redeeming factor is they will get that bomb plant, so they'll have a little bit more cash to play with sooner rather than later. Now then, interesting buy coming out from Virtus.pro. You can see actually going to invest quite heavily on the SMGs there. They do have 3 of them coming out. 2 of them actually being MP9s as well, so it's more risky. You know, you can't really hold on to those into the following rounds. So if NiP did actually go for more of an aggressive burst style play and wean out those 2 SMGs, they might be able to find a bit of a crack in the armor, Harry.
I think the MP9 is a phenomenal gun, and I wish it got more love, so I'm actually a huge fan of this buy from Neo and Pasha. Much love their way, and actually we're going to be seeing NiP heading out towards outside. Now Snacks is positioned over here towards Garage. Neo's now in secret as well, just ready to make some noise in that nade. To find some damage, but it's the MP9 roaring into action, firing shots down range. Now looking to try and retreat on back as he does get pushed. NiP making their way in through secret, but they got to watch out because where Neo is, he could have tried to come in from behind, but it looks like instead he's just going to opt to play things safe, rotating down over towards this B site. Snacks, though, still a huge threat here out towards that side. They didn't clear him out. Get Right, meanwhile, making some presence over here towards ramp. Pasha just holding it with the MP9, and actually Freiburg first to go down, hitting the deck as Neo pushes out wide with the MP9, finds the initial frag, and it's bought some time for the rotate to come in. Pasha, you can see, made his way back into the ramp, so he can quickly now come down in towards B. And as they find Get Right, he, of course, lurking over towards the ramp there. You know that there's at least 1 player here for NiP, and Neo is going to go for the backstab, finds the first. This goes down. Forrest unable to get the work done with the Glock, and then Pasha to finish him off. That is VP. They keep 5 players alive, cash farmed up on the back of the SMGs, and they find that second round.
Yeah, good to see. Obviously, the thing is as well, the only issue with that MP9 buy is that it is very effective against unarmored players. You can tear your way through them a lot quicker than you can without UMP just because of the high rate of fire, right? But the thing is, coming into this round, it's very, very much a hindrance as you don't really have the range advantage or the armor penetration that you have with that UMP.
Just you wait and see, Jackie. Just you wait and see, I promise.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow they do pull this one out of the bag, but it should be unlikely, obviously. Not going to be as effective as those UMPs. Up close and personal, Bayali will try and take that control towards outside. Meanwhile, seems like they're going to go for those smokes straight through the skylights to try and take control of A site, possibly later on into this round.
Bialy now going to take that peek. Exist first to go down. The refrag trying to come in from Forest, but he can't connect it. Bialy going to be peeking out wide, but does finally go down at the hands of the Galil on Forest. Equalize back out of 4-4. Get right, meanwhile, get a dispatch of Taz, but they don't account for Snacks, who's just been playing perfectly. Watching these angles. Freiburg going to be getting that bomb down. Pasha sneaking up the ladder. His huge biceps holding him up. Well, it's Neo locked in this 2-on-3. The MP9 is going to have to step up in a big way. Flash comes through and Pasha's going to take the peek, but down he goes at the hands of Freiburg, and Neo next to fall. Get right with the UMP, proving that maybe I was wrong as it reigns supreme over the MP9.
Thing is, though, it is not doom and gloom at all, because they can instantly rebuy up. So you play that out more as a scout round, you don't need to reinvest, you just stick with those SMGs, because you know even if you do loot it, you can now get out these full rifles into this. Following on, Bayali will actually go for the MP7, though. Made sense because he didn't have as much cash as the rest of his teammates, so he's just going to work with what he can afford. Still could be a bit of a nuisance, though, if he transfers some tags over, and then Snacks could pick them off towards outside. Let's see if NiP are going to try and slow this down a little bit more, though. Right now, just holding more of a default. Playing 2-2 as they just hold by T-Spawn. Not really using that utility just yet. They are just waiting to see if there will actually be any aggression on display from Virtus.pro. Everyone holding their ground fairly smartly, though. More of a slow style into this round. There's those outside smokes that we were talking about earlier. Block complete control off from Garage. You just push your way through. It's actually Draken that will be leading the charge as he slowly makes his way down through Secret. Snacks is there, though, and he can be such a sneaky nuisance. But Draken will spot him out and exterminate him, allowing himself safe patches now towards that B-bomb site.
And Get Right going to be the thorn in their side as he stays up towards A. Bialy rotating around with the MP7. Bit of a questionable buy, but he makes it work as Freiburg going to go down in a blaze of glory. Bialy continuing his aggression, looking to try and prove us wrong as the MP7 picks up a second and a third. Down goes Exist. He's making this investment worth it. We can see that Forest is there. Get Right's coming in from behind as well as he rotates in towards Hell. Neo might get caught off guard. He's looking the wrong way. Forest just dispatches a Bialy with expert precision. Down he goes. Get Right looking to try and make this lurk worth it as Neo hits the deck as well. And very quickly, NiP, they flip this whole situation on its head. Now they find themselves with a man advantage. Bomb out in the open still over towards B, but they can afford to get it down. Taz going to find himself in the 1v2.
He's a bit confused right now. I'm not sure where he wants to situate his attack from, as he will try and go for a little bit of an information play. Peeks out, struggling to control his recoil there, but will actually find the frag on towards Get Right. Knows Forest is trying to go for that quick bomb part now as well, and actually takes the push into him, spots him out, was able to take him down, and will get another round on the board for VPs. They instantly bite back. They will claim the third round, and this will do some damage to the economy of Ninja Pajamas as well.
Yeah, now the bomb plant should mean they can afford to buy up into this. It's going to be a little bit weird because Exist a little bit low on cash, as is Freiburg, so I imagine we're just going to see them stick with the UMPs, but everyone else going to be on rifles. A little bit of utility as well for them to play around. Pretty much everything they're going to need heading into this, so hopefully not going to impede them too much. You can see Freiburg has only got the Tech 9, but still it's a very versatile weapon. You can use that to be very mobile as well on your pushes, and Freiburg towards that side. Not really the ideal place for the Tech to end up, but he's just lining up smokes for the time being as they look to try and recreate this great wall of smokes towards outside once again, and that's going to hopefully allow Forest and Exist to gain some ground towards outside. But Taz, he's going to be going aggressive on his own over towards Hut.
Taz will actually get the opener as well. He's able to fight through with that level of aggression, takes down Get Right, and instantly takes the man advantage for the side of VP into this one. There's those outside smokes, though, working flawlessly, apart from Forest, who was caught off guard by Ali as well. Will claim another frag. Snacks keeps on rolling through as he shuffles his way up towards the A site, gets another kill on towards Freiburg, and just leaves Draken on his lonesome. Confused about how his teammates have been executed oh so quickly. He will fire back, though. Headshot on towards by Ali. But it's still going to be 4 more men he has to take down if he wants to chance into this round. Probably realizes that it's going to be a very hard task. Or just try and back off and reposition himself here.
Yeah, going to be heading towards that side. Now, they know that Snacks was out here, so he's hoping he could find this kind of one-on-one engagement. If he doesn't, then he's already whittled that clock down enough into a situation where he can potentially save. But if he could find a frag on a Snacks here, which I think is the overall idea, then he does put it down to a 1-on-3, and it just makes it that much more achievable. But 35 seconds left to play around with. Snacks has already fallen back passively in towards that A site, well into the crossfires of everyone else on VP, but actually he's in danger of being caught out as he does just reside in the corner of Mini. No one here actually able to trade this out, so if Draken does spot him, that could have netted him the advantage. Neo as well up in heaven, but with only 15 seconds left and counting, it looks like Draken just going to decide to save, falling on back and towards CT spawn, very passively. Not going to expect him to be here either because, you know, why the hell would you? So he will be able to hold into the AK at least. But VP, they're going to find themselves a 4th round.
Good stuff as well. They work their way through. Now the damage is completely done to the economy of Ninjas in Pyjamas. It obliterates what they had to play with. It's going to be so very awkward, as Draken is the only one that could actually save a rifle as well. So it relies heavily on him to do anything into this actual round. If he can actually get a couple of opening frags, though, they can scavenge some weapons, maybe make a play off the back of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of an aggressive style hit coming out from NiP into this one, as they don't have the utility to try and play it slower. Probably just a ramp burst, something along those lines, try and take outside control. Yeah, they're just going to go for the outside push. He obviously has the AK, so he can take those aim battles if necessary. They're going to completely try and distract those. They burst their way through. Snacks is there to attempt to dispatch. Molotov will go in, that slows them down slightly. But can he actually find these frags without getting any casualties on the side of VP?
Yeah, they've been quick to rotate Bialy around as well over towards Secret. Now they have this crossfire between Snacks and Bialy, and you can see actually, looks like Taz even getting in a position where he can chime in and get his hands on some of the action. 3 players with an earshot of outside, and actually Taz now falling on back, so it is Snacks and Bialy to hold off outside. They know there's at least 1 or 2 players here, and Draken, as he finds that first, Bialy going to peek up, desperately trying to equalize things out, but Draken going to claim 2 lives on the back of this AK. Oh, okay, make that 3, a nice quick peek. Neo going to go down as he falls at the hand of Draken. Now it's Pasha and Taz, 2v4. Draken's put in an enormous amount of work. He's looking to do that much more. Taz is on the corner, peeking on out. Does find the first one to get right. Draken looking for this 4th frag, goes in for the spray, but Taz says no. Going to get 3 of his own, finally taken down by Exist. As now it's Pasha and Exist 1v1. 40 seconds left to play around with, plenty of time for Exist to make his mind up. And a lot of options available to him here.
That's time to play with Pasha as well. You can see debating, just waiting it out for the right moment. He is going to just try and play for the late round retake here. But as soon as he gets past that bomb, he knows that it will be a commit towards the B bomb site. Can try and take the fight there. He has the kit. That's going to be quite an important factor. 2 flashbangs as well. That extra little bit of utility could actually save his hide into this one. Exist is directly below him though. The vent has been popped. Now he knows where he is. He will drop down. Can't quite adjust his crosshair. Exist will be able to just rip his way through him. Had the better position into that matchup. And that is a crazy round to be picked up by NiP. Off the back of Draken's individual performance. Great stuff. He was the only one that actually had a weapon. He teared his way through enough members of the side of VP to leave them weakened. The remaining members of NiP could actually shut this one out. And you can see that damage in effect here as well. Look at the buy they've had to go for. It is very all over the place. You have an AWP on Snacks, the UMP over on Bialy, a scout in play as well, and a Mag 7 on Pasha. Taz just left with what he could actually scrape out of the round in the CZ as his sidearm. Not a very efficient buy, and you imagine they should be punished unless Snacks can actually really kick this one off of a bang.
Yeah, Pasha is going to be going aggressive with that Mag 7, and we know he's very deadly with it. Pop Flash going to come in from Get Right, but Pasha looking away, and down goes Get Right. Loaded with a face full of lead. Pasha now picking up the AK, quickly traded out by Draken. He just shows no signs of stopping right now. Falling on back to rejoin the rest of his team. I think he's trying to grab some extra utility there, and through the smoke does pick it up, and now he's going to be relocating, looks like towards outside instead. They're fully aware that a little bit of aggression did come out over towards ramp, and Neosynth has fallen back. Well, meanwhile, we've also got Bialy. He's over towards mid. He can easily peek on out if this outside push does come in, so they need the smokes down to separate it. Snack's going to be watching from heaven, and he can see over the top of that smoke if they decide to take that corner wide. He's just going to hop down at perhaps the wrong time. Bialy rerouting over towards Secret. He's going to have a lot on his plate as the Swedes now round the corner.
Freiburg, yep, tiptoeing his way down, is going to be entering the domain of Virtus.pro, though his teammate actually gets killed as Bialy had the better angle. We'll be able to take 2 for 1 as he gets traded out by Forest in the end there. Leaves them in a 2 versus 3 situation. Slightly favoured towards VP at this point, but it all depends on what Forest can actually bring to the table here. He will make his entry towards that PE bomb site, but Neo with the scout. Such a crisp headshot actually comes out as he lands it, taking him down. This round should be as good as done at this point. Draken was low, also gets eliminated by Taz. And once again, NiP will get 1 round on the board, but then they get reset. VP as well, off the back of what was a very awkward bite. Close it out. So NiP basically broken. I mean, Exist is the only one with too much money to play with, so they basically are just going to have to go for a full save or at least a light pistol investment. Actually, they go for the force around this. They're actually going to buy up. There's only going to be 2 weapons in play. The rest of them just on pistols, but they've got more utility than I expected them to. If they try and play this one slow, there is always potential.
Yeah, Draken crucially going to have that AWP. He's been doing great with the rifles. Let's see if when they got him on his more signature weapon, he can make it work. Does spot out Snacks towards that side, but he can't quite connect that shot. Now they know where he is, and actually he's going to reposition. The other side of the rafters there, just can't quite connect the shot in through the grating, just locked in its eternal duel towards outside. Snacks just going to play things safe, does fall on back, doesn't want to re-peek that same angle twice. Already missed a couple of shots, both of them being given the opportunity, but not able to find it. In the meantime, though, Get Right. No one knows how he does it, but he's better to get in the back lines quite significantly. Already down in through Secret. Now he's over at B. It looks like they're going to be sneaking on past, trying to gain control of outside once again. The wall of smoke's already down, but they haven't crossed. Only Get Right down there for the time being. Draken watching the aggression in from behind. It's NiP. They seem a little bit pinned down now towards outside.
They're going to be going for this boost play. Draken actually put up on top of the red there. He can peek over and finds the frag on towards Snacks. Now that's that AWP removed from VP. This could be quite an impactful factor. Bialy, though, will fight back, takes down Forest. This Pasha as well going to try and move on as he executes Get Right. Ripping his cranium clean off there. Leaves them in such an awkward spot. 3 men left as they make their approach down towards B. They have slipped in, luckily, but they have been detected. The CTs are completely aware of their location. Exists peeks from window. But once again, Pasha proving far too strong as he will hit him with a right hook and takes him down.
Oh, he's not done yet. Going to go in swinging, and actually Draken's gun just sticking in through the vents. Pasha going to go for the knife, but he doesn't quite get it. He's going for the left hook after the right, and now it's all on Draken, who somehow survives the left-right good night, still alive and kicking with the AWP. 10 HP in a dream, looking to try and hold on to it, looking for another no-scope, but no Taz. Fancy feet on the ladder. Does manage to survive, and they pick up both the AWPs. Now they've got a double AWP set up in play over on the side of VP. We did see Neo earlier on with the scout, so he's going to be picking up the AWP now, looking to take that perhaps over towards ramp. Of course, you know, double AWPing on the CT side, incredibly viable. Having someone, you know, locking down outside and then someone on ramp with the AWP is just incredibly strong. You can rotate a player around and, you know, kind of utilize the guy on ramp to watch outside if you lose that initial AWP. And, you know, it's very good to kind of juggle these positions around. Meanwhile, on the side of NiP, they've got no money. They're going to find themselves with their backs against the wall, and Draken actually dying after the time means he only has $250, so we might actually see them have to force buy into this.
Yeah, very awkward round, to say the least, for them. It's not been great so far. They definitely have been struggling on that T-half. And this is interesting as well, because as you said with that double AWP setup, I mean, the only real secondary place you can situate it to is over at ramp. But it's always a risk, because, I mean, we've only ever seen NiP go for, I believe, 1 or 2 ramp bursts, and those have been on ecos. We saw it in sort of the first couple of in the first pistol, where they would burst their way through, just trying to overwhelm the opposition. If you do just have an AWP there, they might be able to overwhelm him. We're going to need to see some kind of communication going through there, a little bit of support on that. He won't be able to just sort of solo take the fight. But it'll be interesting to see how this actually does boil down. Right now, Bialy, I mean, he's been tearing it up. We saw that even in the first couple of rounds. Bialy was the one getting all of the frags on the board single-handedly. Draken as well. He's kind of been the only one that's actually had a rifle for a lot of these rounds, because he's just been saving one. Yeah,
I mean, the other thing about Draken, though, is you got to give him credit, right? I mean, he's someone who be coming into this saying how his AWPing's really good, and right now he's showing he can rifle just as well. And that's why, you know, I've always been a huge supporter of his, is because you know, there are a lot of AWPers where it seems like, you know, you give them the rifle and they're a lot less confident with it. The skill gap between them on the rifle and the AWP is quite significant. Meanwhile, Draken just isn't one of these guys. I mean, you know, you can give him anything, and he's a murdering machine, just capable of smiting down even the toughest opponents. But anyway, heading into this, it looks like they're not going to opt to force buy. Draken only with $250 will probably be relegated down to Tech 9 and Armor into the next round. Snacks with the AWP outside. Just going to be a shooting gallery for him, and Exist, well, he's the first one on display. Down he goes. Snacks looking to try and get himself some mounts for the wall. And already you can see Get Right up close and personal going to go down as well. Snacks on the roll with the USP, swapping things out, just taking his engagements up close and personal, almost like it's a pistol round, going to be on 3. And now it's all on Freiburg, who does go down at the hands of Bialy. 7-2. VP picked that round up in a flawless fashion, quick, clean. And that's exactly what they needed to boost their economy that much more.
Very quick, though. I mean, they just battered their way through. You can see now, obviously, as well, they are going to be buying up into this one. NiP will invest and go for the buy, but the only scary factor is, because Draken's money was so low because he died after time, he physically can't afford a rifle. He will have nades to use here. Luckily, that will help out NiP a little bit more into this round. But no rifle in play could come back to hinder him. He's actually been performing very well with a rifle as well, so it's a shame he doesn't have one in his hand into this round. But let's see how this one is going to boil down anyway. Right now, the first frag will go the way of Snacks. As per usual, it seems he's been a machine with this AWP. Switching up his pace, though, actually went for a hut push with the AWP of all weapons. Very interesting to see. Pasha coming in from the sideline as well. They could actually go for more of a pincer play. They've taken so much map control early. They know that the T's actually have to be funneled towards outside, as they physically cannot go towards ramp or in towards radio.
And this is the advantage that double up set up as well. You can see Neo taking Snax' old position. Now just going to be trying to lock down outside. Smokes do go down to prohibit his view, and he's going to have to fall on back as a result. But NiP, they've been relegated to such a small portion of the map. So many angles left to clear, and with 55 seconds left, time's going to be a bit of an enemy for them here, unless they can dispatch some of these players that are pushed up. I mean, look at Pasha, look at Taz, both of them going to be immediate threats. Snax, meanwhile, as well over there towards B, and it's Pasha to find the first exist, and Freiburg both go down. Taz now closing in on the bomb. It's all on Forest. He does spot out one player, but he's got to worry about Taz. He actually finds both as they go down. Trying to bring this back into the realms of possibility. Turns it into a 1-on-3. Got to watch out, because Forest, once he gets going, he is a bit of a monster. Now you can see that Snax has rotated down over here towards B, and it's no problem. Forest walks on in, unaware and bewildered as Snax mops that up.
There'll be another round going the way of VP as they close it out. Good stuff on display. This was actually a nice little double kill from Forest. But this is the thing. I mean, we're seeing a couple of big plays coming out from them more individually. But it's at the end of the round when they really can't close it out. It's way too far gone. And still at this point, NiP are really quite far behind. This is going to be another round picked up by VP, you would imagine. They should be claiming number 9 here, as Ninjas just don't have anything to work with. Sure, they've got the utility, but even then, we've not really seen them use it too much. More so, the only time they have actually used those smokes are towards outside to try and zone out the AWPer. That is it. We haven't really seen them try and go for an A-take or anything like that, burst your way through skylights. Just some ingenuity on display. It just seems very stagnant right now.
We're going to be trying to rush on in, but Snax in the smoke. He's playing around, and Exist just going to roast in the fire and flames. Doesn't even react, and actually Freiburg walks into the flames as well. What's going on? As a mass suicide takes place in towards this A site, just walking in the smoke of Snax. That's going to be Neo there to find that second, and well, they went down in a matter of seconds. Just the existential crisis, clearly too much to bear there for NiP, as they all just opted to roast in the fire.
Off to the Burns ward. Not a great situation to be in, but luckily the cash will resurge. They can get these buys out. It needs to be a difference maker now, though. They need to have some answers. Draken will be on the rifle. Obviously not too much of a hindrance, though, as we've seen. He's been performing very well with the weapon. Absolute artist with the AK so far. Snax, though, he's been such a pain in the side of Ninjas. Every time they try and take that fight towards outside, he's been shutting them down over and over again. So they just basically have to try and deny that, or at least zone him out or find the opening frag. It's going to be a struggle. They don't have the AWP to try and counter it. Will be taking that outside control, though. They want to just try and run the risk of going for aim battles here. But Snax, even up close with this AWP, he's been a lunatic.
You know, this time he's going to be zoned out a little bit. We're going to see a lot of pressure on Bialy to try and hold back the tide of Sweets. He's going to get one, but swiftly traded out by Freiburg, who does get tagged down low a little bit. Now Snax is going to fall on back, looking to try and play this over towards Heaven, but still maintain the pressure outside. It's Neo in and over towards Hell to get Draken. You can see the trade doesn't come through from Get Right, who just has to hold it back, and Passive does equalize it back out into a 3-on-3 by taking down Pasha, but he hasn't dealt with Neo, and that nade, the slam dunk comes in. Forest gets caught out from the backstab from Neo, and now it's all on Freiburg. 1v3, bomb's been dropped over towards Ramp. He's got to go and reclaim it, but it's right under the nose of Neo. Freiburg sneaking on up, does grab the bomb. Now just has to worry about Neo, and they're going to walk straight past each other, and oh no, basically giving him a back rub. Sputs out the first. Going to maintain this great trigger discipline. Finds Neo, doesn't bother trying to locate Snax, who is up and over towards the ramp. Instead now making his way towards B. 1v2, Freiburg got to try and get this bomb down as time is running low. Both players going for the peek, but he spots out one. Down he goes. As Snax and Taz double peek into that to mop it up. They pick up the AWP, they save that in the next round. Double AWP still in play, and plenty of money on the CT side means that buying wouldn't be an issue anyway.
True. They will have that cash to come through. Looking good. Scary, though. As obviously, we are getting very close towards that penultimate round at this point. Not too far away. And VP, they are just dominating. Best case scenario is that Nuke could come back to try and get this into a 5-10 half. But even then, I think that's pretty much out of the question at this point, as they've just been struggling. The cash is fairly broken as well on the side of NiP, so they can't really have too much to work with into this round. They do have the utility. I doubt we're going to see too much use coming out of it. Right now, there's actually a lot of damage up towards Skylights. Could this actually be the round where they go for more of an aggressive A-take? They will be setting themselves up with those smokes. The smokes do bound over and actually land in there, but you can see the quick rotate from Bialy as well. Now he can backstab here very effectively. Freiburg though towards Hut will be peeking in. Flashbang goes over to try and allow him out. Can he find the opening frags? No one is going to be on that ground level. They are up high, but he will find it anyway. Takes down Taz. There's a response off the back of Snacks though. Another one going the way of Neo. The AWPs are starting to do absolute damage as Neo will double it up. Takes another man down as Get Right hits the deck. And it is just Freiburg and Forest left to try and stay alive into this. Can they actually hold back the onslaught that is coming their way though? Virtus.pro right now keeping this pain train going. Neo will peek in, takes pot shot, can't quite connect it, but luckily his teammate will find the frag anyway. And Forest, unfortunately, death from above comes his way as Pasha will spam into him.
Yeah, that was the first time we've really seen NiP do anything different. At this point, I'm even questioning, do they actually know any smokes other than outside? Because that just seems to be, they throw them, show that at least they still remember how to do that, and then a lot of the time don't even bother utilizing the smokes that have gone down. They just get thrown in there purely to keep Snacks and Bialy outside, which that doesn't even work. You see, then they just rotate Bialy in through secret. He peeks out, gets the information that no one's there, and then you see Snacks rotate in. So it hasn't been working out for them. They need to try and deal with this combo outside. Snacks and Bialy, they're both posted on up here once again. Snacks peeking on out around Mini. It's going to be made aware of these players pushing on out. The wall of smokes goes down yet again, but no one from NiP to push up just yet. In fact, it's Get Right to go down first on the early aggression from Taz, and wherever NiP go, everywhere else on the map just gets infested with VP. I mean, they're doing a great job of pushing and counteracting NiP. And oh, okay, Forest and Exist going to get burned into fire and flames. They're already down to a combined 35 HP, but they do at least deal with Snacks.
Nope, Neo as well will find one though, takes back Drac, and there's Bialy dropping Forest though. Now things have gone from bad to worse. Not looking too fantastic as it is just Freiburg and Exist left. Make that just Exist at this point as Freiburg has been completely removed from his element. Now Exist trapped on his lonesome. Luckily does have the bomb to play with. Can upgrade himself to an AK here if he wishes to try and do so. We'll peek out. Timing's a little bit awkward for him there, so he will hit the deck off the back of Bialy. Now, you've hit the nail on the head with it, because, I mean, this is the thing. Smoke usage has just been so awkward. They're investing so heavily into that utility, but even then, the round we saw them actually go for the upright A take, where they just burst their way out through Hut, they just do the outside smokes. That ace, and the thing is, we saw them burst in their way through. It wasn't even like it was a fake at that point. As you bursted your way through skylights, you've made so much noise there. It was pretty obvious that you were actually going to go for that A take into that round, even though they tried to make it look like a double fake. Why not just commit and at least use those smokes to block off the line of sight?
Exactly, right? The main way that they lost that round was from the push in from Heaven. If they just throw in one smoke to catch the other player in Heaven, then they would have had the sight. They actually get out onto it, they find the frags necessary, but then they get ruined on the push from Neo. This time it's going to be A aggression, the order of the day. Forest and Get Right between them find all the frags necessary. The A site just crumbles, but it Snacks outside, showing he can wield the Deagle just as well as he can wield the AWP. Does dispatch of Exist as him and Pasha find themselves locked in this 2-on-4. Snacks has been a monster that they just can't tame right now as he does rotate up. Get Right finally puts a leash on him and down he goes. It's all on Pasha. 1v4 coming in through Squeaky. Going to be Molotoving off the vent. Will at least stop the play coming in from Freiburg for the time being. But now he's got to worry because this has been smoked. Time is fast running out and it's going to be against him. NiP figured out what they had to do in round 15, but it was too little, too late. Let's see if they can try and pick things up in the second half after a very quick break.
Well, the first half is going to be going in the way of Virtus.pro. Very dominantly, NiP just couldn't close it out. I mean, it looked sloppy. We sort of touched on it throughout the game, but smoke usage seemed to be quite a major factor. It just seemed like decision-making was all over the place. Lots of questionable plays coming out. And honestly, I just don't know why we didn't see more sort of confident style of CS coming through there as well. Take those aim fights into the early round. A lot of it was slow style CS, but they didn't draw out any utility. They didn't do much with their own utility. It just looked kind of questionable. And that's the thing. The one round they do actually have some confidence scope. Look, let's just take A side, just fast. Push their way in. They clear the angles you expect players to be situated in normally, and they actually find the frags. they picked up the round.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's very weird. Maybe we should direct them over to the ESL YouTube channel where they could actually learn smokes for Heaven, because, there you go. Apparently, they only seem to know the outside ones. It's all they kept throwing, and I get it, you know, they were trying to, like, keep the fact that Bialy and Snax was so incredibly strong outside. They were trying to prevent the rotate, but with how Bialy and Snax are playing it, it just didn't work, because you already had Bialy down in secret. The second he takes the peek and realizes that there's no one there, then Snax knows he can afford to rotate off, and a lot of the time we kind of saw Bialy push up towards red and start to watch the actual corner that they round out a T-spawn. So, you know, I mean, having the smokes down did nothing apart from waste 3 smokes that could have been used much more effectively elsewhere. Had they just smoked Heaven on that first push into A on round 13, I think it was, or round 12, then we would have seen him pick it up. Neo comes in from Heaven, finds himself 3 insane frags on the back of the orb. But if there was a smoke there, they would have had the bomb down. It would have been a 5-on-3. A very, very winnable situation. And then when we see them go A in that final round of the half, they mop it up. It's just raw aggression. You know, VP don't see it coming whatsoever, and they pick the round up. But, you know, you can't figure that stuff out in round 15. You need to be thinking of that much earlier on. And it's not like they did anything too inventive. It was literally just rush A.
That's the thing. It seems like we only ever saw 2 rounds of actual confidence-style CS of just, well, you know, it could be questionable, but aggression actually on display from there. That first pistol round when they took the hit towards ramp, it was just a fast ramp burst off the back of 1 flashbang, and then the fast hit towards A site. You know, sure, it's completely different because it's a pistol. It kind of negates the fact of it being on the same page, but it's just interesting to see that was the only time they really had confidence in themselves to actually try and take those aim battles and win them out. Definitely interesting to see it boiling down like that. Let's jump back in, though, as we work our way through into this second half. This time around, Ninjas over on that CT half. Let's see if things will be different for them, if they can actually try and lock it down here, as they need to come out big on this pistol, or VP are very close to match point.
Yeah, VP not really making their minds up just yet. The smoke's going to go down towards outside, and that's going to allow them to cross. Now, these are, in my opinion, a better wall of smokes. It doesn't allow you to push in through mini, but you only use 2. And you can see that's going to now allow them to make their way in through secret. Draken trying to watch outside from Heaven. Quickly going to be caught off guard as 3 players on the approach from Rafters. He's now going to have to fall on back and towards this A site, and now they're set up perfectly to split in towards A. This is a very nice idea from them. Neo to find the first on a get right. Already, they're kickstarting this the right way, but Draken looking to try and shut this down before they can get their foot in the door. Does find the first. He's going to get chipped away from the push in for a mini. Freiburg goes down. They got to watch out because Snax and Pasha, they're both enclosing onto the site, and in the blink of an eye, the round are going to be going the way of VP. Draken and Exist, the only players to do anything there for NiP, as they get completely ruined.
To be honest, at this point as well, all VP have to do is buy up, have the range advantage, take the fight towards outside. You win that round so easily. Most likely just play slow at the very beginning of the round, because NiP could go for more of an aggressive style play, as they know they have to try and do something more shocking. They can't play it out like a rifle round. VP can just play for range battles here. They can just try and take the aim fights and most likely win them out, purely because they have the superior arsenal. Seems like they want to try and take the burst towards ramp to the late round, though. More just a slow default to kick things off, as they expect Ninjas in Pyjamas to actually push into them. And they will do just that. Get right gives away the first frag of the round, as Pasha can tear his way through with that AK-47. And now they already slipped their way down towards the B site. Sure, they are going to be spotted out, but they don't actually take any damage off the back of it. They're just tearing their way through NiP, as another man will go down.
Yeah, the push still going to be continuing. Actually Exist does somehow manage to find Neo, but in the meantime, I mean, just up against the torrent of rifles that are firing rounds their way. Freiburg looking like he wants to try and peek, but the second he does, never mind. Pasha was in position, but still goes down, and actually Exist finding another. But Taz is next, quick to mop that up before it can get out of control. They only keep 2 players alive, which isn't ideal. They got the bomb down. They've still got money to invest, and NiP won't be able to force buy anything up behind this. Curious to see if they do, because they might be able to kind of catch VP off guard. It looks like they are just going to try and play for the overtime, but that's going to require winning 12 rounds consecutively.
And honestly as well, I don't know if we're even going to see that orb coming out, because Draken has only 1.8k at this point. They're not looking too good. I mean, we could see him just get completely shut down right now. Sure, he's gone for the taser buy as well. It's kind of interesting to see what he's going to do with that. I mean, that's kind of the only really interesting thing about this round, is it should just be a bloodbath on the side of VP, just tearing their way through everyone on the side of NiP. Very, very simply. Neo will spot a couple of players. That actually finds the headshot that you imagine he shouldn't have got. Will take them down. The nade gets dropped as well. Interesting decision-making coming out, but they're still picking up these kills as easy as can be. NiP at this point left with just 3 men left standing, Harry. I mean, they're trying to play together here, at least have some kind of edge over VP, but you don't imagine they're really going to achieve too much.
Yeah, we can see that Exist and Freiburg trying to make their way up in through Secret to catch Pasha off guard, but he's in a great spot just to eliminate this exact sort of play and guillotine any hope of a resurgence in this pistol round. Freiburg going to get caught looking the wrong way, and down he goes. Now Exist might be able to trade this out as he takes the peek. Pasha going to be tagged down low, but no, the aim punch proven to be too much. As Exist falls next, it is all on Draken, the man with the taser. While he's just waiting for the time being, Pasha making his way in through Secret is already tagged down low. There's players who look like they might want to go hunting, so he might be able to find one here in the vent. This is the best scenario for the taser to work, but no, Bialy faster on the trigger. You don't need a taser when you got Bialy on the MP7. 15-3, 12 rounds the difference, and the buy coming in from NiP. They do get the AWP up at least.
Yeah, luckily Exist actually had some money to play with, so they can get the AWP in play. But overall as well, I mean, it's kind of bad for their actual amount of utility they have. Very, very lackluster. They only have 2 smokes, that's it. Those are going to be used up probably in the first few seconds of the round as well, because they don't have too much of a read of how VP are going to play this. They're just going to have to lob those out. It relies quite heavily on Draken to actually try and slow down this opposition. He will have to back up a Forest towards outside, but he's been removed from the entire situation. Freiburg is low, but will be able to do some damage. Freiburg actually goes one better as well, finds 2 kills into this. This is a huge play coming out from Man, just what they needed to actually try and take the tide into this fight. Get right as well, we'll find the frag back on towards Neo. Sure, VP have the upper hand into this round, but it's slipped away from them very quickly as they're just left with this dynamic duo to try and win this one out. They are outnumbered.
Bialy be tagged down by Draken, who does finish him off with the USP. Now it is all on Stacks, who does go down. Exist peeking out from heaven, finds that frag. So they do manage to find themselves a 4th, and they actually start to now impede the economy of VP. They should be able to get another buy down into this. And I mean, even if the cash was that much tighter and they couldn't afford to buy, we would still see them go for it anyway, I imagine, just because, you know, they've got an 11-round buffer. They're not really in any immediate danger. But, you know, we've seen NiP with bigger comebacks than this, so maybe.
I mean, that's the thing even then, though, sort of what you were saying off the back of that. They didn't even need to go for a force. If they know they're not going to have, you know, a complete full buy, they can afford to let a round slip.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They can just go, all right, we'll let this one go, then buy up to when we know we have actually a very effective buy. So the ball is most definitely in their court. They can do what they want without these next following, these following few rounds. It's basically, they have 10 rounds before they have to sort of worry at that point. But into this one, they're actually doing a fair bit of damage. They leave it to a 3 versus 3, make that 3-2. As Forest will go 6 so far with this AK-47. He is raining hellfire from above, and all of a sudden it is just Bialy left. He is trapped towards the A bomb site. Does have the bomb in his possession, luckily enough, and some utility to work with. We'll try and smoke down. If anyone is going to try and slip through main, you can find the kills here. Get right will actually be dispatched. He snaps his neck clean off. And he's trying to keep this round in his favor. He's making it work so far. If anyone peeks into him, surely he should find a win if they go 1 versus 1. They need to try and pick together here. Try and play as a unit. Draken will just be holding with that AWP. Flashbang goes out for Bialy, trying to force him to do something. Will actually blind him, peeks in. Oh, bit of damage transferred over, but not quite a kill just yet. The kill from behind. And now we have Draken actually landing the shot with the AWP. They will find that frag, keep themselves going. So VP's cash now will be broken. But as we were saying here, it doesn't really affect them too much.
No, it's especially not seeing as they were able to get that down into a 2-on-1. Had we seen everyone survive for NiP, which is what we're going to need to see if they want to stay in this. I mean, they need to never ever feel like they have to hold back in terms of their utility. I mean, they're going to be able to force buy every single round regardless because, you know, they've lost if their money gets low. But yeah, I mean, they need to just try and chip away at the money. And that's exactly what they did. So this round going to be no problem. They don't have much into it. A couple of pistols here and there. But they can still do damage. And that's the thing that NiP really want to try and avoid. So up on Draken being something that could be called into question if too much damage is done. But he's already found the first frag on a Bialy outside. Now Pasha just baiting this out. That Molly's going to miss horribly as he does actually now kind of force himself back a little bit here. Pasha takes the peek, hits the dirt. And it is a 3-on-5. Exist watching the push in through Hunt. Going to be caught with his pants down as he now falls. Freiburg trying to remedy this as he does combine along with Forest to find Snacks and Taz. Leaving this all on Neo with a Deeg and a Dream. But it's not going to be enough. 6-5. NiP, they find themselves another round. And they're trying to close that gap.
Best thing about that, obviously, as well, is that they actually didn't lose too many men. There weren't that many casualties because, as you were saying, it's really going to take their toll on them. If they actually start losing these rounds, where they're getting sort of 3-4 casualties every round, their economy is going to be fairly damaged. They'll take a massive dent, and that will slow down just how many nades they can get out. If they get themselves ever into a situation where VP can break their economy, that's where they could very easily lose that game. Off the back of that. But let's see how this one will go. Obviously, Pasha this time around trying to take very early aggression towards outside. He slips his way through their smoke. Posts himself up, though. Won't be going any more aggressive right now. Waits for his teammates to rotate over. They're just going to be trying to have a sniff around, see if they can spot out where the CTs are. Draken is in that elevated angle. You imagine normally he would actually swat down a couple of members of the T side, but he actually gets punished because of this. Freiburg can retaliate, finds the kill back on towards Pasha. Another kill going the way of Ali. There's Get Right going to chime in there to keep it neck and neck at this point. It is 3 versus 3. In which favor will it go? Neo finds the headshot on towards Get Right.
Yeah, they secure that man advantage. Bomb still over towards that side, but it's going to be wrapping on in. And Taz, he deals with Freiburg. It is all on Exist. 1v3. Got to come up huge to clutch this out and keep NiP in this rush. VP will be taking this first map, and they are very much aware of the gravity of this situation. Exist sneaking on out over towards Heaven. He knows there's players outside that he's got to watch out for. And currently, as they reside down in Hell, he's going to take the peek, and he will fall. Snacks to rip his head from his neck, and down he goes. VP picked that one up. But I mean, you know, with how we saw NiP play, was there really ever any doubt after that amazing first half?
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy, right? This is the thing as well. We look at it. VP have been kind of more so in a rut recently. They've been struggling pretty heavily. It's not looked too fantastic for them, right? You know, that's fairly fair in saying that. Whereas for NiP, they've been more so on the up and up. They've looked a whole lot better with Draken.
Yeah.
We thought, looking at Nuke as well as a map choice, that they would actually have, you know, a favourable sort of matchup going into this. But it was not the case. That first half, absolutely abysmal from the T side of NiP. There was no ingenuity at all. It literally just looked like we'd see early round fight towards outside, that they would lose every round because they'd just be walking into the same death trap of Snacks just beating on them, just punch after punch. It just looked questionable. I mean, can you name one thing else that they even did, really? Well, we saw the fast A take. That was it at the end of the game. The one time they actually had confidence behind them.
Yeah, I mean, their strategy, you know, their strat book right now consists of 2 pages with a bunch of smoke standing outside, just crudely drawn in crayon, and then on the other, it just says Rush A. And yeah, I mean, it didn't work out for them. The other thing as well, I mean, things didn't bode any better for them on their CT side. We saw some very nice executes coming in from VP. A lot of things that I think, you know, it's a shame we didn't get to see more of. This was probably my favorite clip. Neo kind of misunderstanding maybe how big the holes in that grating is meant to be. Not big enough for a nade, but alternate. Yeah, I mean, into round number 20. That was... Oh, right, yeah, sorry, round 16 was the first one I wanted to speak about. That was the pistol round, obviously, heading into the second half. VP, what they did is they smoke off the outside using 2 smokes just to block Secret. That denies anyone rotating in through B to, you know, clear out outside, because they didn't bother using that to actually go down into Secret. Instead, they send 3 players up rafters, and they send 2 up close to Mini to then push on through. And the peak comes out, they very, very quickly deal with Draken, who's watching outside, and then just split in towards 8, instantaneously grabbing the site, completely catch NiP off guard, picking up that pistol, and that basically is the thing that secures them the game. It takes them to 15 rounds ultimately. Then again in round number 20, we actually saw Draken watching outside with the AWP. They just sneak past him completely. He's watching red. They sneak down past Mini. They don't throw a single smoke to telegraph it either. It's a very ballsy play. It could have gone wrong, but ultimately it works out for them. And we never saw that same confidence, that same kind of off-the-cuff thinking from NiP.
I mean, that's kind of the story of the matchup there, obviously. I think you've just got to say, you know, Counter-Strike is confidence. Without confidence, you've already lost. And it just looked like NiP went in there sort of timid. They were scared in a box.
Draken looked fairly confident, but everyone else was... they just seemed terrified of VP. They didn't want to try anything new. They always put their smokes towards outside because they were honestly shaking in their boots about what Snacks was doing to them outside along with Bialy. So they had to put those smokes there as far as they were concerned. It just didn't change anything for them.
It's true. It was very odd to see it boiling down that way. But there is going to be the first map going the way of Virtus.pro. But there will be another map coming up soon. That is going to be Cobblestone. It'll be interesting to see if VP can keep this going and lock this down, or if the series could potentially shape up to a 1-1. Stick around. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly with a second map.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.